Are you sick of hearing about the need for a four-year degree? Are you a problem solver? Do you like to work with your hands? Then maybe it's time to consider a trade school as an alternative to a four-year college or university. So what's a trade school? According to thesimpledollar.com, they're aimed to teach specific skills or trades, and that's for a relevant job. And according to mycollegeguide.org, it's typically 2 years and have smaller class sizes and a more streamlined process than regular four-year colleges do. So some of the drawbacks of a four-year degree are that this information comes from lifehacker.com. It's 2 years or more to complete. 40% of people drop out, with a rate of 65% taking longer than 4 years to complete. I myself am one of the people that dropped out of college after a year and then waited like 4 years to go back to college before actually going into a trade school instead. So the average cost of a degree is $127,000, while the average trade school cost is $33,000. That acutes to a savings of $94,000 a year, or $94,000 total. So you can see the difference there is pretty enormous as far as the cost goes, and that's just for an average typical bachelor's degree from a four-year college. So benefits of a trade school. The information here comes from thesimpledollar.com. Starting average is $42,000 per year versus $45,000 a year with a four-year degree, even though it takes half as long and costs $94,000 less. So you can see that overall you make $3,000 less to start, but your savings is already almost $100,000 more than a person that's starting with a four-year college degree. Also, your skills are more tuned towards a certain specific job within a company, rather than having a skill set that can be relevant to a myriad of jobs or a myriad of companies as well, but one that may not be specific towards the exact job that you're going for in your position or field. Most trades are extremely difficult to export to other countries, giving a strong sense of job security. And one of the examples they use here is an IT person that could sit at home, or sit in a company that is, one that might work on a mainframe or on a giant server system, can't really do that if that job has been exported to a different company, such as from Amazon Web Services, since their hub is in Australia rather than the United States. So they've got all their jobs there rather than here. So an auto mechanic could work down the street, whereas an IT professional would have to work for a specific company within the United States only. It's also much more hard to own your own company if you have a different skill set than that, if that makes sense. There's a growing demand for highly skilled labor as much of the workforce is older. For example, FedEx's aircraft maintenance technicians are majority 90% are 65 or older. One gentleman I know is a 45-year-old male that is in the bottom 10% for age. In the next 5 to 10 years, they're expecting to hire basically an entirely new workforce. So they have to go forward and get these people trained and get with the proper person within the company that it might be, whether it's aircraft or cars or doing plumbing or welding. They have to get with a skilled professional that's been doing this trade for a long time to be able to learn the skills necessary to do the job beyond school. One of the biggest benefits, I think, as far as skilled labor goes, or as far as trade schools go, is the cost. So not only does it cost less for tuition and room and board and everything else, but it also costs less, for books and fees. So right here, since I'm in the aircraft maintenance technician program for Vincennes University, these are all the books I need to complete my courses that are required for my airframe and power plant certification. These books cost $180 as a set. This book was for a gen ed class that I took this past semester for Spanish, and it was $250 alone. This is 6 books, this is 1 book. I had to have 2 separate books for this, 3 separate math books already, as well as a physics book. And they all cost astronomically more than these 6 books did altogether. And these ones hold much more information than those do, and much more information that's much more focused towards the skill that we're trying to learn in the trade school itself. So in conclusion, in today's world, there's not as much need as there once was for a 4-year college degree. They continue to see a decline in the need for one, and more of a need for people to go directly into the workforce that are already skilled as quickly as possible. Trade schools are growing significantly in popularity as incentives for skilled labor increases as the current workforce retires. There's no need to feel pressured into going into a four-year college anymore, and there are alternatives to that path. And trade school isn't for everyone, but it may be right for you. And this has been Matt Dolan for Communications 143 Speech Class in Mr. Nitty.